If you guys want to be in with a chance of winning one of two £25 Xbox or PlayStation gift cards in my April giveaway, all you need to do is leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. Best of luck and enjoy the video. Hey guys, it's Way here, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys my La Liga Team of the Season predictions. This is always one of the most highly anticipated leagues in Team of the Season because it's got some of the highest rated players in there. But this year may be a little bit different because Ronaldo's left the league and he was always 98 or even 99 rated and one of the most in-demand players in the entirety of Team of the Season. But there are of course going to be loads of other good players in there. We've got of course Messi and those types of players that you would expect. Not as many Real Madrid players as normal because in Ronaldo's absence they've really suffered. Lots of Barcelona players though, and a mixture of players from some slightly smaller teams that have had really good seasons, the likes of Getafe and ALBA who've been really punching above their weight. So it's going to be a good one. Hopefully you guys do enjoy. Let me know down below which players you agree with, any players I may have missed out on. Let me know down below. If you guys do enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new around here, and without further ado, let's go on into it. First of all, we've got a few notable mentions, players who didn't quite make the cut but could very easily get into Team of the Season. It was just so hard to pick in a lot of cases, and these players didn't quite make it. These are also the types of players you could easily see getting into the weekly objectives and SBCs during Team of the Season. First up is Griezmann. He's amongst the top scorers, but I included players who scored a similar amount or more in there instead of him. It's going to come down to the last couple of games of the season. If he performs well, you're probably going to see him in there. We've then got Casemiro, one of the few Real Madrid players who could possibly get into Team of the Season. In the end though, he just didn't quite make it because I had so many good midfielders. We've then got Rakitic. I wanted to include him, but I already had basically the entire Barcelona midfield. I couldn't include all of them, and he was the one that didn't get in. But you could easily see him get in there, and maybe one of the players that I picked from Barcelona not making the cut. We've got Parejo, who's had a great season for Valencia, and I think deserves to be in because Valencia haven't got many players in here, and they've had a really good season, but he just didn't quite make this selection. We've got Partey from Atletico. In the end, I went with a different Atletico centre mid, but you could easily see either one get in. Partey is one that I definitely expect to see maybe as a weekly objective player or in an SBC if he's not in the main Team of the Season squad. We've then got Dani Carvajal. He's had a decent season, not quite up there though with some of the other players I've gone with in that position. I've then gone with Stuani, who has had a really good season and could definitely get in there. He scored a lot of goals, but in the end, compared to the other players I've gone with, he got no assists, and some of the players who were on similar amounts of goals had quite a lot of assists, so I went with them instead. I've then got Canales from Real Betis. They've had a really good season, and I definitely expect to see quite a few of their players in there. He was one of them that I wanted to include, but didn't quite make it. Same with Marc Bartra. Arias, it's the same kind of story with Dani Carvajal. He's had a good season, but I could only really pick two fullbacks on each side, and he didn't quite make it. And then got Charles from ALBA. They've had a good season. He scored a fair few goals for them, but I had a lot of strikers in there already, so he didn't quite make it. We've got Pacheco, who's had a really nice season. Therefore, Alaves, who, as said, have been really, really good this year, but I've already got a lot of goalkeepers, so he didn't quite make it. We've got Mata, who has been one of Getafe's standout players. They're currently 4th in La Liga, which is insane, given they're a really small club with very limited funds. And he scored a lot of goals for them, but didn't quite make it in the end just because, although he's had an amazing season for a club that are really punching above their weight, he hasn't scored anywhere near as many as the strikers I've included. We've got John Jordan, who's been really good for ALBA. He had a winter upgrade. This card will be decent, but I just had so many other midfielders. And then we've got two very low rated cards, Silva and Araujo. Both of them, they've been good, but they just weren't quite as good as the players I picked. Now moving on into the main team, we start off with the goalkeepers, and the first one is Jan Oblak, arguably the best goalkeeper in world football this season. He's made some insane saves for Atletico. They're always good defensively, and he's a key reason behind that. We've then got Marc-Andre ter Stegen. He has had another brilliant season for Barcelona, who are also a very good defensive side, and they're currently top of La Liga by quite some way. He definitely deserves a spot in the Team of the Season squad, and he's also likely to get into the most consistent squad, having not picked up a special card throughout FIFA 19. And then finally, we've got Sergio Asenjo from Villarreal. He's been consistently a very, very good keeper over the past couple of seasons, and I think deserves a spot as the third keeper in Team of the Season, although for that third spot there is quite a lot of competition. Moving on to the fullbacks, as I've already mentioned, I've gone with two on each side, and the first on the left is Jordi Alba. I think he's a shoe-in for the Team of the Season squad. He's been brilliant this year. He definitely deserves a spot in there, and this card is going to be amazing. Probably the best left back on FIFA 19 with that amazing pace and very good defensive ability as well. I've then gone with his Barcelona teammate Nelson Semedo. It was between him, Carvajal and Arias, and in the end, Semedo's the player who won the poll I did on Twitter by quite some way, and I think he deserves a spot. This card would be insane. Again, extremely quick. You could have 299 pace fullbacks from Barcelona in there. This card would be so good. As some cheaper options, we've then got Firpo from Real Betis. He has had a very good season. He's been great both going forwards and defensively, and I think this would be a really nice card and wouldn't be too expensive. And then finally, we've got a very similar card in Ruben Peña from ALBA. Again, he's been very good, very consistent this season for ALBA, who've had a lot of players who've performed well. You will see a lot of them throughout this prediction, and that does complete my fullback selection. Next, we move on to the centre backs, and the first one I've gone with is Gerard Piqué, who's been arguably the best defender in world football according to some, having probably the best season of his career. He's really back on form in the absence of Umtiti, who's missed almost the entire season with injury. This card wouldn't have the best of pace. It wouldn't be an amazing card in Ultimate Team. He would have amazing defending though, and is very much deserved. We've then got Godin, another card quite similar to Piqué, not the quickest, but amazing defensively. He really reads the game very well. Atletico, as I've already said, are very good defensively. They always have been, and he's a very key reason behind that. We've then got Lenglet, who in the absence of Umtiti has really stepped up, performed brilliantly this season. He's a player you could also definitely see in the most consistent team of the season as well, and I don't think he'd be that expensive, but would have a really nice card. We've then got Gene from Getafe. I wanted to include quite a few of their players in here because they've had such a good season, and he's one of their outstanding performers. He's been brilliant from the back and is also very quick, so if you got a team of the season card, you could expect nearly 90 pace on it. And then finally, we've got Maripan from Alaves. He's had a really good consistent season. They've been solid defensively, and he's been an absolute brick at the back for them. It wouldn't be an amazing card on FIFA, but I think he definitely deserves it for his performances throughout this season. You're not seeing anyone like Ramos or Varane in here. They just haven't performed as well as the players I've picked here. Possibly you could see EA maybe go with Ramos, just because they will want to go with some really big players, and he'd be a huge name in there. But for me, these are some great options, and with Ramos already having a Team of the Year card, a Team of the Season just isn't really necessary. Moving on to the midfield, there were so many players to pick from, but I managed to narrow it down to just 5, and the first one is Sergio Busquets, an absolute shoo-in for the Team of the Season squad. He's been an outstanding, world-class, consistent midfielder now for about a decade. This year's been no different, but sadly he just isn't very good on Ultimate Team, so even though he's probably going to get a 95 or even 96 rated card, no one's really going to use it. We've then got Pablo Sarabia, who's been one of the outstanding performers in La Liga this season. He's got like 5 informs. He's guaranteed to get into the Team of the Season, and it's going to be a pretty decent and fairly inexpensive card. We've then got Arthur, and this card, he's already got a Future Stars card, but I'm hoping if he gets the Team of the Season, which he should get, it will get boosted up a little bit more, and if it does, it's going to be an amazing card, one of the most well-rounded midfielders on the game, and as a Brazilian in La Liga, he's going to be so good for hybrids as well. We've then got Rodri, who's going to have a very similar card, I think. It's between him and Partey. I think one of them will definitely get in from Atletico, and he's also got a good chance of getting into the most consistent Team of the Season too, having not picked up any special cards so far this year. And then finally, we've got Lo Celso from Real Betis. I've included a lot of their players, and he's probably been their best midfielder. I saw a lot of people saying he deserved a spot in there. It was really hard to pick the last player because I had about 5 options to choose, and Lo Celso is the one I went with in the end. It would be a really nice card, and I doubt he'd be that expensive either. Next up, we've got the wingers. I've only gone with 2 players here because the majority of the best performing players from La Liga this season have been either strikers or midfielders. There haven't been that many players out wide. These were the 2 that stood out for me. Of course, we've got Lionel Messi. There wouldn't be a Team of the Season prediction for La Liga without him. He's the best player in the world, and he is obviously the best player in La Liga. He's the top scorer by a huge margin. He has like 35 goals and 12 assists in about 32 or 33 games, which is insane. He's played both positions. He's played right wing, he's also played centre forward, but I hope it's a right wing team of the season he gets, because a team of the season as a centre forward would be fairly pointless, as he already has a team of the year card that's 99 rated in that position. So hopefully he gets one on the wing. Even then, he's got a 98 rated man of the match as the right winger, so with Messi he already has so many special cards. This would just be another one to add to the collection. It would be an amazing card. Ousmane Dembele has played both left and right side, but I think it would be best if he got this card here on the left, just because if Messi gets a right wing team of the season, there's going to be no point using Dembele on the right wing, because who wants to use Dembele when you can use Messi? But if he's on the left, he'd be a lot more usable, and it would be a really nice card. And they're the only two wingers that really stood out. You had Jesus Navas as well. He's the only other one who I could potentially see getting in there, but these are the two I've gone with for now. Finally, we've got the strikers, the first of which is Luis Suarez, who funnily enough actually hasn't had the best of seasons at all this year, especially by his standards. Yes, he is the second top scorer in La Liga, and he's playing for Barcelona, who are going to win the title, but he hasn't had the best of form, especially in Europe. He's yet to score in the Champions League this season, which is crazy for a player of his caliber. But despite that, I think he's definitely going to get into the team of the season, and he's going to have an amazing card. It will probably be 98 rated with some insane stats. And I use his road to the final card in my main team, and he is insane, and this card here would just be next level. He'd be one of the best strikers by far on the game, as you would expect given his rating and stats. We've then got Karim Benzema, who I believe is the only Real Madrid player I've included here, and he's probably been the only Real Madrid player who's been good enough to get into the team of the season, I'd say. I mean, yeah, you've got people like Casemiro, maybe the likes of Ramos and Carvajal who could possibly get in there, but Benzema, I think he deserves a spot. He's performed well. He's scored like 15 or 16 goals, I think, got a fair few assists as well, and in the absence of Ronaldo, he's stepped up. He hasn't replaced him in terms of goals, but he's managed to score a fair few for them. We've then got Iago Aspas, who is fairly even with Benzema, and the final player you're going to see here when it comes to goal scoring ability. I think there's a lot of players this season who just behind Suarez have scored kind of like 17, 16, 15 goals, that kind of amount, and they're separated by a few assists as well. And Aspas, I think, deserves a spot in there. He's performed well for Celta Vigo. He's probably been their best player this season yet again. And it would be a decent card. He does already have a lot of special cards. He's got an SBC card. He's got some informs. And I think this one is another one that he can have added to the bunch. Finally, we've got Ben Yedder. And this card I think everyone would love to see, because Ben Yedder is one of the most popular and overpowered players on Ultimate Team. This year, his first inform, I believe, is the most used inform on the game. It's very good. And a team of the season version of him would be insane. This would probably be one of the best strikers on the game, even though he would, I say only, be 94 rated, but compared to some of the amazing team of the season cards we're going to see, some of the team of the year cards we've got on some of the icons, I think he'd still be up there as one of the best strikers, because he just suits the game so well. And I think he definitely could get into the team of the season. It's going to come down to the last couple of games of the season, see how he performs compared to the other strikers there, because there are so many players. There's about 10, all separated by 2 or 3 goals, and a similar amount of assists on the whole as well. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets in there. I think Stuani is definitely a bet for the final striker position. He could definitely get in there. I think he's the third top scorer with 18 goals, and then a lot of these guys are on like 17 or 16, but Stuani has no assists, and lots of these guys have like 6 or 7, so that's why I've included them ahead of him. Hopefully that makes sense. But it's a very tough team of the season to predict. There have been so many amazing performers in La Liga, especially from some of those more kind of mid-table teams. Loads and loads of ALBA players, a lot of Real Betis players too. And then of course loads of players from Barcelona, quite a few from Atletico too. No Griezmann, I didn't include him. I think he's got like 14 goals or something. He's some way behind these guys there, so I didn't include him, but you could definitely see him included. I think the likes of Griezmann, maybe Ramos, those types of players, maybe Casemiro and Partey, they're going to be players that EA may want to add in, because this is picks by EA, and often they pick players based more on Ultimate Team and their FIFA ability rather than their in real life ability, because they want players that will sell packs. But anyway, let me know down below in the comments which players you agree with, which ones you don't, which players would you change, all that good stuff. Let me know down below. Leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you later. Take care.